morning, and how is life treating you today? I'd like to tell you a story that I hope you find interesting. In the 1980s and 90s, my family and I would often travel to Cushing, Oklahoma. That community is where my late wife Janet grew up. And most of her family still lived there or could gather there frequently. So we would drive first from Oklahoma City, and then we moved to Lawton, and we made that drive many, many times. And we would take the interstate up to Edmond and then turn onto what was still Route 66 and drive till it met US Highway 177 and we turned north. At that intersection was a beautiful, beautiful old white farmhouse, obviously a very prosperous family, because this was a two-story place with a full attic. It was probably over 3,000 square feet and just perfectly maintained. It was probably 80, 90 years old at least. And I'd drive by and look at it and say, every time I went by, I'd say, what a beautiful place. And somewhere along the line, the house became abandoned. And within just a few years, it started deteriorating. Windows would be broken by weather, and after a while, every time we went by, it had crumbled some more. And even after my wife died, we would still, of course, go visit family, but not as often. And each time I'd be so sad when I'd see that house deteriorating further and further. And finally, one day, it just collapsed. And the next time we went, the land had just been completely cleared away. Well, perhaps you are one of those people who handles every event, good and bad, with aplomb. And I say good for you if you are one of those people. But in a lot of ways, most of us are like that old house. If we don't take care of ourselves, we fall apart. If we do take care of ourselves, we can last a long time. For example, let's look at physical health. Do any of you read Kathy Cooper's health tips in the Lawton Christian? The Lawton Christian. I highly recommend those to you because she gives us good advice. But how about our spiritual health? In these times of national crises, it is so easy to fall into fear and anger and despair. And what do we do about that? So do you ever find yourself even doubting where God is in all of this? Well, I assure you, God does understand. That's why in John 16:7, Jesus told us he would not leave us alone, but he would send us the advocate, the Holy Spirit. How does that help, you may wonder? The answer is found in Romans 8:26, where it reads, likewise, the Spirit helps us in our weakness, for we do not know how to pray as we ought, but that very Spirit intercedes for us with sighs too deep for words. My friends, we can help the Spirit help us by spending even a few minutes each day in prayer. Now, it doesn't have to be fancy or full of pompous words, merely honesty. Tell God what is scaring you. Tell him about your pain. You don't need to bargain. You don't need to make promises. The Spirit will help you, and God does understand. Finally, sometimes it's good to have a how-to guide. I recommend a daily devotional, such as the Upper Room. There are many, many others. And it just takes a few minutes. And like reading Dear Abby or the People's Pharmacy in the local paper, yes, I do that too, you may learn that lots of folks share the same kind or similar problems, and more important, what they did to get help. Be of good cheer, and may God bless you and yours. Have a good day and a good week. Amen.